Good morning. Ken Leon-Guerrero here, the proponent of the voter initiative process. And as you can see by the quote that I started the show with today, that is still here next to me, who will govern the governors? See, this is a problem that has been around the United States ever since, even before there was a United States. And Thomas Jefferson made it very clear when he gave us this advice. He observed that there is only one force in the nation that can be depended upon to keep the government pure and the governors honest, and that is the people themselves. They alone, he's talking about us, they alone, if well informed, are capable of restoring the nation, or in this case, our island, to its rightful course, and if it should go astray, they alone are the safest depository of the ultimate powers of government. That's why we have tools built into the Organic Act of Guam called the voter initiative process, the initiative process and referendum process. These are processes that give us, as citizens, the right to introduce and pass laws. It goes back to the fact that if it weren't for the people, our politicians would have, let's say our politicians over the past 20 years, nearly 20 years I've been back on island, have gone a long way towards helping themselves first before they help the people of Guam. We only have to go back to 2014 and look at when the politicians gave themselves a massive retroactive pay raise in secret session and fought for 2 years to hold on to it, earning the right to become the third highest paid legislators in the United States, until the people of Guam raised protests and voted 6 of them out in the 2016 election. You would have thought by then that politicians would have gotten smarter and realized they need to spend more time and effort taking care of the needs of the public, and you might be just a little bit wrong in that case. Why? When we look at the current political climate, how many politicians, starting from the governor on down, campaigned in 2018 and 2020 how they were going to make our lives better, how they were going to roll back the business privilege tax that has ended up with $100 million excess collections in the government of Guam, money that came out of our pockets to fund their pork barrel projects. How many of them promised to make our island safer? How many of them promised they were going to do something about the rampant growth of drugs on this island? How many of them promised they were going to take care of GMH? How many of them promised they were going to make our children a priority? And look at where we are today. But we need to know that with the tools we have before us, we can change our future for a better one. And I have proof. Back in the 32nd Guam legislature, a group of pork barrel politicians and politically well-connected insiders tried to ramrod through the 32nd legislature in the last days Bill 433, a bill giving legislative approval to the waste energy plant that would have taken somewhere between 150 and 180 million taxpayer dollars and put them in the hands of politically well-connected insiders who never designed, built, or operated a waste energy plant to do exactly that. And I think based on how good they're doing running the swimming pools, we have a pretty good idea how that would have turned out. But what happened? A group of people like you and me got together, and in a matter of 4 days, we collected 2,500 signatures in 4 days. And as a result of that, the waste energy bill floated off into committee, never to be heard from again. We have the same situation before us now. With the initiatives, we need to collect about 10,000 signatures. It sounds like a lot, but it's not really. If we can collect 2,500 signatures in 4 days, just imagine what we could do in 5 weeks. But I need help to do that. When we stopped the waste energy plant it took about 20 people working together to collect 2,500 signatures in 4 days. So I figured that if we get 100 people working a few hours, in the immortal words of a friend of mine who was a minister back in the mainland, many hands make light the work of the Lord. And that's what we're talking about doing here. If we can get 100 people to put the community, our people, our children first for a day, we can change the government of Guam for the better. We can make our people safer, and we can help make our children stronger, working together for a day or so. Now, the reason I need your help is I've got people all over the island who want to sign this petition, but with the cost of gas right now and me being one person with a few friends, it's impossible for us to be everywhere at the same time. But if we had a group of people working together, we could schedule times in different villages where people like in Jigo can go to the senior center and sign. We could have people down in Maleso and Arahan, and just take a day where people in that area could go over and sign these petitions. That's how many hands make light the work of the Lord. Because when we sign these petitions, we're putting all of our politicians on notice, present and future, that you need to pay attention to the commitments you make to the people of Guam, or we'll find someone who will. Now let's look at how these initiatives help us make our government better. The first initiative is that independent candidates will not be required to run in the primary election. Now, when I talked with candidates, most of them would rather run as independents if they could, but the political parties have created a mechanism that makes it damn near impossible for an independent candidate to get elected. The number one complaint I hear from people on Guam is they're tired of seeing the same faces over and over again. It seems like a revolving door of politicians coming in, going out, coming back in, going back out, coming back in again. Well, the way we break that revolving door is we make it easy for new candidates to bring new ideas before the people of Guam. And we do that by making it easier for newer candidates to get into office. And that gives them the ability to run a smarter campaign, one based on ideas instead of party loyalty. Just imagine if we pass this initiative, how many new faces we would see in upcoming elections. The second initiative is to return to 21 senators. We went to 15 senators and it didn't work so good. A lot of good work didn't get done because we're cramming so much work onto so few people that the important things get pushed by the wayside, because it seems like with 15 senators, they have too much power. And when you're sitting there as the head of 2 or 3 different committees, that's a lot of power concentrated in too few hands. It also means that not enough viewpoints are represented in the legislature. We need to break that paradigm. And here's how we make our island safer. We separate the Attorney General's office into 2 departments. The Attorney General of Guam, let him continue to represent the government of Guam, because that's what the Attorney General does. Never mind we elect him. The Attorney General's office, ever since I've been back, has made serving the needs of the government and the governor more important than protecting the people of Guam. And we see that with the revolving door at the courtroom. We see that when all the good prosecutors are leaving. So by creating an office of a publicly elected prosecutor, a politician, if you will, whose sole purpose for existing is to prosecute crime and report back to the people how many criminals he prosecuted, that is how we make our island safer. And in order to make our children stronger, we need to make our government stronger. The way we make our government stronger is we strengthen the accounting systems and the accountability systems so that we know that all the money that's being collected in taxes goes where it's supposed to go. Never in my wildest dreams did I dream that a substantial part of the fuel tax meant to pave the roads in our villages is going to pay for a building at the University of Guam. But that's what politicians did. They took money that was supposed to go to paving the roads in our villages, and they put it to paying the bonds issued for the one of the buildings at the University of Guam. Now, I have no objection to that building, but I think that there could have been better ways to pay for it rather than let the village roads suffer. So that's why we need to stabilize the funding for the Office of Public Accountability, because we have billions of dollars going through government of Guam and its agencies. And we need to make sure it's being used correctly and for the benefit of the people of Guam. That's how we make our children stronger, because when our finances are stronger and more dependable, then we can do things like appropriately fund public health and public education, as well as public safety. This is one of my favorite quotes. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And we saw that back in 2016. When for 2 years politicians fought tooth and nail to keep those pay raises, it wasn't until a small group of citizens started putting pressure on the politicians and voting 6 of them out of office directly over the pay raise issue and voting new people in, did politicians heed the will of the people, as Thomas Jefferson told us they would, and roll back the raises. So we need to do that now. And if you would like to help by working a few hours or a day or two to help make our government more financially stable, our island safer, and our children stronger, you can contact me at 727-4321, leave a message or a text, or you can send an email to kenleon-guerrero@yahoo.com. These are the petitions that we need to get signed. And all I'm asking is that you help. If we could get 100 people to help collect 100 signatures each, that is what it would take to change our island for the better for a very long time. Because if we pass these initiatives, politicians will remember and know and respect the fact that the people are reclaiming our power as citizens and strengthening our democracy in the process. There's an old saying out there, inch by inch is a cinch. We need 10,000 signatures, but I'm not asking any one person to go out and get 10,000 signatures. I need help from 100 people to help each collect 100 signatures. Now, the good news is it's easy to do. I went to Epau Beach the other day, and in less than an hour, I collected 21 signatures. Now, I collected them 4 times because there's 4 initiatives, so I got a total of 84 signatures, but I count them as 21. 21 signatures in an hour. So if everybody who wants to make our island stronger, safer, and let politicians know that we are watching them and the time has come for them to step up to the plate and make serving the people of Guam more important than serving the political parties or their careers, contact me, get a copy of this petition, have your friends and family sign it, or help me collect signatures around the island. And then together we will make this island better, our government stronger, and our people safer. So, Ken Leon-Guerrero. And there's one other thing. I especially have been trying to get younger people to get more involved in government. And this is a time for you younger people to step up. Baby boomers have been around for a long time, And it's time for younger people to start claiming their power, because the millennial generation is the largest generation ever, and I would have expected them in this election to be the largest core, but that's not the case yet. Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great, and my word to you, younger people, you can be that great generation. Let your greatness blossom. It's a quote from Nelson Mandela, a person who knows about greatness. We have a primary election taking place right now. I'm encouraging everybody to get out there and vote for candidates that you believe represent your dreams, your goals, your aspirations for this island, because that's another way we exercise our power as citizens and make government more responsive to us. So for those of you who aren't sure you're registered to vote, you can call the Guam Election Commission, or you can go online and check to make sure you're registered. And it's an important thing to do, because over the last couple cycles, I think nearly 15,000 people have been deleted. Some of them have re-registered, but just make sure that you are registered, and then get out there and vote. But in the meantime, help me help you make our island, our government better, our island safer, and our children stronger by getting involved in the petition process. I'm Ken Leon-Guerrero, just a citizen like you, claiming my rights as a citizen to petition my government, and I hope you'll join me. Thank you.